Hey, what's up everybody out there in learning land? Very special lesson. Today's our first music theory lesson as it pertains to the ukulele, alright? So I know that when it comes to music theory, especially when you're just getting started, you're going to have a lot of questions. Just leave those questions in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer all of them that I can, okay? So today what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about the Roman numerals. Well, first we're going to look at the C major scale. I'm going to show you how to construct chords out of the scale. And then I'm going to show you how to give those Roman numerals and how you can use that to transpose a song, why you transpose a song, and how to use this concept as well to choose the scale that you're going to use for jamming, alright? Now those are all concepts that could have an in-depth analysis, each one of those, and we're going to kind of introduce them all, go through them all, but I know you're going to have more questions. Again, leave those questions below, alright? I did my best to be as complete as I could, but these are some pretty heady topics, okay? So for this one, you're really going to need that brain. You're really going to need that attention span. If you are a Patreon, you have a PDF in front of you that will help you add some clarity as well. It starts at just $1 a month. You can always give more. Skype lessons one-on-one if you're interested in this kind of thing. But if you came just because you want to answer those following questions, or you want to get your little theory toes wet, that's cool. I dig it and I respect it. What do you need? The ukulele brain, big time, and attention span. Got those three things? Follow me on in, and let's break this one down. Let's do it. Okay, so in general, these concepts, when you're exploring theory, I would recommend doing them in the key of C because the C has no sharps or flats. So it makes it, even if you're working with staff music, you can read staff music pretty easily. You know, a nice sheet music, you can read it. But also it just makes it easier because you don't have to deal with flats and sharps. It makes it a lot faster and more clear. You'll understand it clearly. So the scale is, let's take a look at the C major scale. It's a C, D, F, G, A, B, C. Okay, now let's really quick, before we get into the Roman numeral part, let's take a look at how we form triads. To form triads, or to form chords, what you do is you take your major scale and you skip a note. I don't know because I haven't put the graphics at, maybe the C's right here. You skip the D and you get to the E, and then you skip the F and you get to the G. So to make a C major chord, you have C, skip that D, add the E, skip that F, and add the G. So when you make a C chord on your ukulele, look at the notes, G, C, E, G. Okay? You can even, if you wanted to, do arpeggios like, I'm just going C, E, G, E, C, C, E, G, E, C. And that also works as a C chord. And that's really cool if you're adding a ukulele to the second rhythm, okay? Now, that works for the whole scale. So let's look at the D. And the D was the next note E. So we'd skip an E and we'd play an F. And the next note is G, we'd skip the G and play the A. So then we get something that looks like this. Oh, it's a D minor, it's not a D major. Every time I hear the word D minor, I always think of Keith Richards. Okay, so you have the D, F, and A. So we make a D major, a D minor chord on our ukulele. A, D, F, A. Alright? And this works all the way through. If you do it with E minor, or if you do it with the E note and you skip 2, you also get a minor chord. Okay? If you start on the F and you skip 2, you get an F major chord. Starting on the G, you'll get a G major chord. Starting on the A, you'll get an A minor chord. And starting on the B, you'll get a B diminished. For the B diminished, I'm not playing the G string because there's no G note in there. And you'd have to reach up with your pinky just to get this B, so that make it a little awkward. So those are all the chords that we make out of the notes in the C major scale. Now you'll notice that the C is made out of the C major, out of the first note. So that's called the 1 chord. D minor, second note, second chord. E minor, third note, third chord. F, fourth note, fourth chord. G, fifth note, fifth chord. A minor, sixth note, sixth chord. And the B diminished, seventh chord, the seventh note, seventh chord. So that's why each of these have Roman numerals. So we put the chords up on the screen and we put the Roman numerals above them, we can see a couple of things. One is we see that the 2 and the 3 are small letters, all right? Why is that? Because in the major scale, your second and your third chords are always minor, just like our 7th chord, or our 6th chord, okay? And our little 7th chord is always going to be diminished. So the 7th chord isn't a chord you're going to use a lot in the major scale. Now you can, because it makes a cool passing tone, but it's not one that gets used a lot. Okay, so why is that beneficial? Well, first let's talk about a couple other things. Your 4 is always going to be major, and your 5 is always going to be major. And your 5 chord is the chord that also sounds really nice when you make it a 7 chord. So you've probably, if you've been playing ukulele long enough, you've probably seen C, F, G7, C. Well, the G7 can happen because it's the 5 chord, okay? What else? The 6th chord, the minor chord, and the 1 chord, the C chord, are called relative majors and minors. So what does that mean? Well, let's look at the notes that we have here. In the C chord, we have A, G, C, E, and C. A minor, A, so no G, but we also have a C and an E. So we see that 2 notes are the same. These chords have a lot of similarities. And what else do they share in common? They're pentatonics. The C major pentatonic is, right? And the A minor pentatonic is, now I'm playing that A to start off to give it a little bit of context, but it's the same notes, okay? So that way when you, let's say you know your A minor pentatonic, and you come across a song in the key of C, that's maybe a 1, 5, 4, 6, 1, 5, 4, 6. And you want to improvise on that, and you know the A minor pentatonic, well, you also know the C major pentatonic, and it's going to work great over that. Now, this Roman numeral concept also works when it comes to transposition. What do I mean by that? I mean that you can take something like, when I say 1, 4, 5 in the key of C, what do I mean? I mean we have all the chords again up there. What we notice our 1 is our C, 4 is our F, and 5 is our G. So 1, 4, 5 in the key of C would be C, F, and G, and then back to C. Well, let's say the harmony for this song is going to go up and it just gets just a little too low. Maybe the first note is this low G note and you can't quite sing it, but you can sing that A whole step up really well. Well, you can take a song and transpose it. Transposing the song means you're going to move it up. The easiest way to do that is with our Roman numerals. Let's say we move it up 1 whole step to the key of D. Then it becomes a 1, 4, 5 in the key of D. D, G, and A for the key of D. 1, 4, 5, and 1. So that's really, really good to know how to transpose as well. Another thing these Roman numerals do is that they're going to help you kind of look at what are non-diatonic chords when you're analyzing some chord progressions. For example, I once lived the life of a millionaire. That's the key of C, but what they do in that tune is they take their 3 minor and make it a dominant 7, and make their 6 and make it a dominant 7. So we have the key of C, but we also have an E7 and an A7, which isn't normal, but through chord progression analysis, we can see that it's really just a 1, 3, 6, but we've changed the minors and the dominant 7s, okay? Another thing it's really good for is, let's say you have a baritone ukulele and you don't know the chords, but you want to play some songs. Well, baritone ukulele is everything down 5 steps. So on a baritone ukulele, your G becomes a D chord. Why is that important? Well, let's say that you want to play a song in the key of C that goes C, F, G, and C. Well, it went down 5 steps. So what we have to know is, what is the 5 steps away from our C chord, right? You notice that the G and the D are 5 steps apart. G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, D. All right? So what we can do is we can apply the same spatial format to what we're doing here. So the C, 5 steps away, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, and then F. So this F chord here is actually going to be a C on your baritone, all right? And we're using these Roman numerals, and once you know that 1, if you, for example, let's say hypothetically, you're looking at this and you're thinking it's the key of F, well, 1, 4, 5. In F, it's 1 is your F, 4 is your B flat, and 5 is your C, all right? Okay, so that's a lot of information, and it's a pretty heady concept. How are you going to break it down? Well, one thing that you should do is you should learn these 1, 4, 5s in the key of C. The next thing that you should do is start to look at 1, 4, 5s in other keys. I would recommend C, D, E, F, G, and A. Okay? Then after that, another thing that you should do is start to look at the other chords in these keys. Also, analyze popular progressions from your favorite songs. For example, I'm Yours, go C, G, A minor, F. So what would that be? Well, we're in the key of C. We have a C, 1, 5, 6, 4. Okay, so you know that that progression works really well with pop music. So let's say you want to write your own song, but you know that your voice really fits F better, right? Well, you have 1, 5, 6, 4. So now all of a sudden you can go. You have your own song. Mix up the rhythm a little bit. And then you put some words to it and you've written your own song. It also helps in when you can identify these things from a jamming standpoint. If I know that this is, if I see 3 chords and I can see it go D, G, A, D. Well, I know right away because of the study that that is a 1, 4, 5 in the key of D, which means the D major pentatonic would be my vehicle for improvisation. Alright, that's the rundown of Roman numerals. I hope it helped you. Any doubts or questions, leave the comments below. If you like the music theory things, let me know and I'll keep them coming, alright? Okay, and until next time, everybody. Take care of yourself. Alright. So now you got all the Roman numerals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7 that no one ever really uses unless you make it an extended 7 chord and 1. I hope you dig it. I hope you enjoyed it. Rock and roll, everybody. It's always a pleasure to rock and roll with you guys. And until next time, keep on loving life and keep on playing that ukulele. Take care of yourselves.